foreign refineries, we were actually exporting refined petroleum products, at least to neighboring countries, not just crude. We were getting, and the other raw materials from those refineries were supporting over 44 other industries, including the textile, which has also collapsed. The collapse of the textile sector alone led to 800,000 jobs being lost. Let's come back to Lagos. How have we responded to these challenges? Today, we will give them Okada to solve employment. Then tomorrow, we will bind the Okada. We will train young people how to do makeup and barbing and soap making and how to get time, and they call it empowerment. That's how you're going to empower 6 million unemployed young people in Lagos State? Come on. That's such a cruel joke. I mean, whereas in reality, before, where you used to have 3 tailors, you now have 15 tailors. And the ability to even buy clothes to sew has dwindled. And here you are training more tailors and you call it empowerment. I think they'd rather call it disempowerment. With the kind of population we're talking about in Lagos State, you're not going to address the the employment situation, the job question, without massive industrialization. Yeah, it's just no way you're going to do it. And somebody is saying we have achieved what power we have achieved till 23 years. We have last month, we employ people last month, we have neighborhood, we employ people. Those are no jobs. I mean, those are useless jobs, if you call them jobs at all. Because they create minimal value if they create anything at all. You get the point? So, these are issues that we must be agitated about. I told you the manufacturing capital was 14% by the late 80s, now it's 3%. Nobody is talking about that. And yet, we have a mostly youth population. So these are the difference that we must make. So our vision of Lagos that will work for all, and not just for a few, is a Lagos that puts human development, human capital development in the front burner. We're not going to continue to tolerate a situation where 150 children are in one class. Or there is no human being born of a woman that can teach teenagers more than 30 or 40 in the class. Go and ask any developmental psychologist or any education. The state hospital, we must have more state hospitals. They must be adequately equipped. The drugs must be available, and that also means building pharmaceutical companies, not just importing drugs. And when you are doing it, you are putting people to work. You are creating the jobs. Lagos State need nothing less than 100,000 qualified, well-trained teachers to be recruited, like yesterday. So if you give 100,000 young people jobs as teachers, is that not something? Does it not take something away from the employment market? So you got to build hospitals, you got to equip it, you got to have the doctors, you got to stem the brain drain of all our trained personnel leaving the country. Doctors, everybody is leaving. Nurses, everybody.
Political parties will tell us, and we should count ourselves lucky as members of AAC. This is the only ideological based political party we have in Nigeria. There is no party that has our kind of ideology. This is a party where you visit our website, we'll give you 34-page manifesto. Not just manifesto that they are telling you we'll do this for you. They are giving you specific terms. The manifesto was even shared on our WhatsApp platform. Specific things. For power, this is how we want to do it. Then in terms of Lagos, our governorship candidates will address us better on that. In specific terms. From education, which is my passion. Like the last speaker mentioned, you cannot grow without human development. It's my passion. Primary education, secondary education, totally in shambles. Today we have LASU that has a whole lot of infrastructural deficits. They've converted Akwa and Moped to University of Education. LASPOTECH is now University of Technology. We don't have any problem with that. But what we are saying is that most of these schools cannot compete with proper universities. They can't. And they must be funded. And Lagos must lead. Then, if we now talk about housing, in Lagos, we have about 3.2 million housing deficits in Lagos, which is a very serious challenge. Our governorship candidates will only give us specific terms of what he intends to do. For health, we are not there at all. And that is why most of our leaders don't even treat themselves in Nigeria, because they know what they are doing. We will come up with policies where our governor, incoming governor, is the governor. The incoming governor will patronize our public health centers. In terms of employment, which our scholar is highly passionate about, our governor has been able to come up with packages that will aid the growth and development of the informal sector. Like you rightly mentioned, from National Bureau of Statistics, truly, the informal sector accounts for 75% of the business activities in Lagos. So, if you leave out the informal sector, you have destroyed Lagos. And that is what the present government of APC, that's what they are doing. They are killing the informal sector. And that is why we have high rate of crime. So, on this note, let me introduce a man that has a solution to all this problem. The man that will give us in specific terms, not I will do this, I will do that, in specific terms, how all these challenges will be addressed. The person of Comrade Akeem Olayiwola.
AAC PDP, take it back. Action. Ìràpadà Èkó.
AAC take it back. Action. Ìràpadà Èkó. Ìràpadà Èkó. Thank you. My Deputy Governor. Thank you. Our leader sitting beside me. Gentlemen of the press. Great members of our party, AACs.
Take it back.
We are presenting a blueprint for the Lagos we want. The Lagos of today is not the vision of the old. Neither the Lagos that we want in our youth. Definitely, the Lagos of today is not a Lagos of the future. Almost all rural upbringings dream of a Lagos like London, dream of a Lagos like Cape Town in South Africa, a Lagos like Cairo, without the Egyptian pyramid. But when you come from Bega, Ota, or from Badagry, you welcome into the hustling and bustling of a city without all benefit of same. A city languishing in the confusion and palavers of a heated transit, a costlier living with very horrible standards. Brown and average workers appears as a slave in this state. You are welcome to a Lagos that is supposed to have all amenities from transport to waste management to massive employment with unique social security and welfare. Lagos is supposed to be the hallmark of exemplary growth and development, but we are all witnesses to the fact that Lagos is only growing in the pocket of the grid view. Every month, the Lagos state government declared 50 billion as a revenue. Where are they putting the money to? Lagosians have been paying true and true, but is there anything to show for it? Lagos remains the second most dangerous city people live in all over the world. At a point in 2020, during COVID-19 lockdown, all Lagosians in their streets became vigilantes. We were all threatened by the menace of child courtesan and such other dangerous criminals like Awawa boys and 1 million boys. Aside insecurities, the Lagos market system has been totally destroyed by the sheer greed of the ruinous cabal that have steven the market with multi-taxation.
A lot of youth now are picking up their voters card and wanting to exercise their franchise. A lot of the party members that are coming from different parties are riding on the fact that, for example, back in 2015, people didn't vote for Buhari, they didn't vote for APC, they voted for Buhari because they wanted a change. And now, a candidate that is looking like what people want, maybe on the federal level, will be something different from what they're already having. Same thing might be happening in Lagos. I see that there's a demographic, for example, the deputy person is coming from the east. There's a way you're trying to include youth and some other things into what you're doing. What plans do you have for the youth? I know you're targeting the informal sector. I know you're targeting education. I know you're targeting health. What plans exactly do you have for the youth vote? A lot of youth now are picking up their voters card and wanting to exercise their franchise. A lot of the party members that are coming from different parties are riding on the fact that, for example, back in 2015, people didn't vote for Buhari, they didn't vote for APC, they voted for Buhari because they wanted a change. And now, a candidate that is looking like what people want, maybe on the federal level, will be something different from what they're already having. Same thing might be happening in Lagos. I see that there's a demographic, for example, the deputy person is coming from the east. There's a way you're trying to include youth and some other things into what you're doing. What plans do you have for the youth? I know you're targeting the informal sector. I know you're targeting education. I know you're targeting health. What plans exactly do you have for the youth?
And the party you mentioned, I don't want to mention that name because they've got nothing to offer. Something is trending on Twitter recently where one of their key members even openly said it, that our own man, the Showore of Africa, is truly the best candidate. I don't know if we saw it on Twitter. Please, let's applaud Showore. There has never been any better time than now for Showore. I have no shred of doubt whatsoever that the AAC is taking over the national government. Because for most of these things that we're planning in Lagos to work, we must be at the center also. So back to your question, the governorship candidate mentioned some stuff during his address. The package for COSA, for example, the students, we're talking about youth, the bulk of the youth are students. The package for COSA, 100,000 per student, is for youth. Then specific youth development, when you mention the technical institutions, they are meant for the youth. And when you talk about the informal sector, we have a lot of youth there also. A whole lot of youth. The governorship candidate, because of the time frame, was unable to mention a whole lot of things that we probably have in mind to do. Like the women. We probably have in mind to empower the women also. Because we have a national policy on gender. And our plan, the plan of the governor, is to ensure that at least 40% of all appointed offices goes to the women. But back to the youth. So the youth will be fully integrated in the government. Number two, they will be empowered through the technical aspects. Number three, the informal sector also, the bulk of them are youth also, they have benefits there. From this package you have for students, the COSA, the 100,000 allowance for them. most of the people that benefit are the youth. So it's a win-win for the youth. It's a government for the youth. The youth will never have it this good again. This will be one of the best opportunities we have to elect AAC at all levels, from assembly to rep to student to government. We have come to change the narrative for life. Nigeria will never experience this darkness anymore. Nigeria will never experience this calamity anymore. It is now a new dawn. Ìràpadà Èkó.